Welcome all my dear student of SY BSc Physics class. In previous lecture we have studied aberrations, then class of aberrations, that is monochromatic aberration, chromatic aberration. We also further study the group of classes of aberration, that is spherical aberration, then chromatic aberration, astigmatism, reduction of surfaces and distortion. All these aberrations are come under the group of monochromatic aberration. Now we also studied the spherical aberration in details, and in order to reduce the spherical aberrations there are different methods. Out of different methods we have studied a single method which is very easy to apply, with the help of which we can easily minimize the spherical aberration, and that method is nothing but reducing the lens aperture. Today in this lecture we are going to see the remaining methods which is used for minimization of spherical aberration. So see here the second method by which we can reduce or we can minimize the spherical aberration. So in this method, the spherical aberration, as we know that spherical aberrations arises due to larger deviation, but the larger deviation especially in case of marginal rays than the paraxial rays. So what I said, we know very well, up to this point we are studied well that the spherical aberrations arises due to larger deviation of the marginal rays than the paraxial rays. If the deviation of the marginal rays of the light is reduced or made minimum, the focus EFM will shift it towards the focus F2. That means what? See here, by using plano-convex lens. Here we are going to use a plano-convex. By using the plano-convex lens, we can reduce the spherical aberration. So this is the second method. See here, suppose this is the plane surface and this is the convex surface. So this lens is nothing but plano-convex lens. In this lens, if here these are the marginal rays and these are the paraxial rays, we use different type of arrow to show the difference between them. These are the paraxial rays. After refraction, these paraxial rays come to focus to this point. That means come to focus at point IP. That is on FP. IP of FP. FE is the focus. FP is the focus or focal point due to the refraction of paraxial rays through plano-convex lens. And if we consider the marginal rays, see here, suppose these are the marginal rays. After refraction, they come to refract like this, and at this point you will get FM focus due to marginal rays. So this is the difference. Okay, at this point marginal ray come to focus, and at this point paraxial rays come to focus, and this is nothing but axial or longitudinal spherical aberration. Okay. But here What is the important point? When in this figure, spherical aberration arises due to marginal rays and due to tangent. The spherical aberration arises due to larger deviation. There is a large deviation of this marginal ray, and that's why due to this larger deviation of marginal rays as compared to paraxial rays, the spherical aberration increases. If the deviation of marginal rays of the light is like this, or if the deviation is made minimum, that means what? If we shift the Fm towards Fp, if instead of this point, if instead of this position, if Fp is here, Fm is here, then obviously the spherical aberration is minimized. That means in order to minimize the axial or longitudinal spherical aberration, what we have to do? We have to shift by hook or crook this focus due to marginal rays toward the focus due to paraxial rays. That means here, in order to minimize the spherical aberration, we have to reduce the distance between Fm and Fp. It is observed that longitudinal or axial spherical aberration will be minimum or can be minimized if total deviation what is total deviation is equally shared by the two surfaces of the lens. So here, how we can make the arrangement, or in what manner in such a manner if we use the plano convex lens in formation of image, then we can reduce the spherical aberration. So instead of this plane surface, if curved surface is facing to the incident rays, then obviously there is a reduction in axial or longitudinal spherical aberration. Here, how it is takes place. So this is again principal axis. Now here, instead of facing the plane surface, if curved surface of the plano convex lens is faced to the incident rays, then what happens? See here, these are the marginal rays marginal rays strikes to the curved surface of the plano convex lens, and these are the paraxial rays strike to plane surface. Then when we make the arrangement like this, then obviously paraxial rays are coming here. In this way. So these are the marginal rays. These are the paraxial rays. This is the focus due to marginal rays. This is focus due to Fp. That is focus due to paraxial, focus due to marginal rays. See here, the length of Fm, that is the distance between Fm and Fp, is small as compared to distance between Fm and Fp in first figure. So if we share the marginal rays and paraxial rays in this way, then we can reduce. That's what we have to do. We have to make the arrangement in such a way that the curved surface of the plano convex lens are going to face the incident rays. When we do this, then obviously we can reduce the spherical aberration. Okay. Now, next method, by combining suitable concave and convex lenses. By combining. Third method. In this third method, in order to reduce the spherical aberration, here, third method, by combining suitable convex and concave lens. See here. Suppose first we use the concave lens, convex lens. We already studied that. See here. Suppose this is the thin convex lens and this is the principal axis. If these are the paraxial rays, and these are the marginal rays. Marginal rays and paraxial rays are shown by different type of arrow. We observe that due to large deviation, marginal rays after reflection come to focus at this point F1. And paraxial rays are come to focus here, FP. This is it. So, this is the axial or longitudinal spherical aberration. Longitudinal spherical aberration for a convex lens is positive. This is the positive aberration. Longitudinal spherical aberration for a convex lens is positive, while that of concave lens is negative. See here how it is negative. For that purpose, consider a concave lens. Suppose this is a concave lens, and here these are the marginal rays. These marginal rays are diverged from the principal axis. So, this is the reflection of marginal rays. But when we consider paraxial rays like this, these are the paraxial rays shown by different type of arrow. When see here. No, this is not. If there is a lens is defective, then this is happen. But see here, when there is a defect, instead of coming to focus the paraxial marginal ray, they come to focus at this point. See here, these marginal rays are come to focus at this point F. And these paraxial rays are come to focus at this point. So here distance between FP and FP, this is negative because this is happen toward the left of the lens and this is happens toward the right of the lens. So longitudinal and spherical aberration for a convex lens is positive, while the spherical or longitudinal aberration in case of concave lens is negative. If we make the suitable combination of these two lenses, then we can easily reduce the spherical aberration. Therefore, the taking suitable combination of convex and concave lens, the spherical aberration can be minimized. Now, this is the figure, how this is possible. See here. I am going to combine these two figures, see here how it is possible. This is a convex lens, and if we take the combination of convex and concave lens, this is the concave lens and this is the convex lens. Okay. This is the concave lens, which is thinner at the center, and the concave lens is thicker at the center as compared to its ring. So, when paraxial rays comes and focus to here, this point and this point, this is paraxial rays, shown by the arrow like this. They are come to focus here. Now, consider marginal. These are the paraxial rays and marginal rays. These are the marginal rays, shown by the arrow like this. When we take the combination of two lenses in such that there is a combination of convex and concave lens, then here after reflection these marginal come to focus here, and in this way a small aberration goes reduced. That means what? When we take the suitable combination of two, when we take the combination of two suitable lenses, convex and concave, the spherical or longitudinal aberration can be minimized. The next method. By using the combination of two plano-convex lenses. Next method. By using the combination of two plano-convex lenses separated by a finite distance. Suppose this is the first convex lens, L1, whose curved surface is facing to the incident light. Take another plano-convex lens, L2, whose curved surface is also facing to the incident light. Consider the ray PQ. Okay, this is the optic optical center of O1, O1 of L1, this is the optical center O2 of lens L2. If we consider two plano convex lenses L1 and L2 having the optical center O1 and O1 and O2, and focal length of these two lenses are f1 and f2 respectively. F1 and f2 are the focal length of lens L1 and L2 respectively. See here. TA is the incident ray. Now after refraction, this PA strikes to lens L2 at point B. If this lens L2 is absent, then it's simply come to focus at this point, F1. But and see, these are the two plano convex lens. They are kept in such a way that curved surface of both the plano convex lens are going to facing the incident radiation. And these two lenses are separated by a finite distance x. Okay. When the incident ray PA is strike on the first plano convex lens, it will get refracted. The angle of refraction is delta. Delta 1 is depend on the height, that is this height, h1, and focal length of the first lens, that is f1. This is already studied by us in chapter number 4. But this is the case when this ray PA is incident on plano convex lens. After refraction, it reaches and strike at surface at point B on the second plano convex lens. If suppose L2 is absent, then what happen after refraction? PA after refraction meet to point F1 on principal point. Okay. This is but second lens is present. Due to presence of second lens, it is again going to refract. Sorry. Okay. And come to point F. So this is the angle. This is the deviation delta 2. Deviation delta 2, which is due to second lens. And this deviation will depend on delta 2 is equal to h2 upon f2, where h2, this is the distance, h2, height. So delta is depend on the height of the incident radiation as well as the focal length, f. So focal length of this second lens is f2. So this is the deviation produced by second lens. This is the deviation produced by first lens. Okay, and this is the focal length of first lens. Okay, and this is f1 minus a. This is the distance from the figure. Okay, see here. In this figure, I am again going to repeat. The incident ray PQ is parallel to the principal axis. Strikes on lens L1 at point A. After reflection, it travels along AB. Let the deviation produced by the first lens, that is delta 1, in absence of second lens L2, the refracted ray AB would meet the principal axis at point F1. Okay, which is the principal point of principal focus of first lens L1. However, AB is present. However, AB has to pass. L2 because L2 is present there. So, due to presence of L2, what happened? Due to presence of L2, the ray AB the ray is become incident for L1, sorry L2, and it get refracted along BF. So BF makes the deviation with this length L2, that is delta 2 is the deviation made by the incident radiation, and this delta is like this. Now here there is a certain condition. The condition for minimum, there is a certain condition for minimum spherical aberration, and that condition is nothing but the condition for minimum spherical aberration is that deviation delta 1 and deviation delta 2, when both the deviations are equal, then both the deviation delta 1 and delta 2 produced by two lenses must be equal. If these two deviations are equal, then spherical aberration is minimum. So for that purpose, consider, in order to see this condition, consider the geometry of figure. In this figure, angle, say Q, angle BAQ, and angle, second angle BAQ, and FB1, where FB1? FB1. This is the angle BAQ and FB1. See here. In this figure, see angle BAQ delta 1. This angle. And another angle FBF1, that is delta 2. When these two angles are same, then spherical aberration is minimum, or in order to minimum spherical aberration, these two angles must be same. And say, suppose this angle say delta. Okay. Now here, see here in this figure, angle BAQ is equal to angle BF1 F. That is angle BAQ, and instead of this angle BF1 F. These two angles are same. BF1. These two angles are same. And these angles are nothing but delta. If these two angles are same, if this angle, what I said, BAQ and BF1 F, if these two angles are same, then obviously BF, that means this distance BF is equal to FF1, this angle. BF is equal to FF1. This is from figure. But BF, this distance BF is approximately equal to O2F, this one. What I say, if in this figure angle BAQ and angle BF1 are same, then we can write BF is equal to FF1, and when this is happen, then obviously BF is equal to FQ2, FO2, or O2F is equal to BF, or O2F is equal to BF, or FF1. O2F, that means this distance is nothing but this distance equal to this, or this distance equal to this. Means what? This point F is exactly at the center of O2F1, or in simple manner we can write 1/2 O2F is equal to 1/2 what? O2F1. O2F is at the middle, so O2F is equal to 1/2 O2F1. Okay. Now here in figure O1 F1, O1 F1, O1 F1 is F1. O1 F1 is equal to F1. Okay. Now O1 O2 is X. O1 O2 is the distance of separation X. Already mentioned it. I mentioned it. Okay. Then O2 F2. O2 F1, not F2. O2 F1. O2 F1. O2 F1 is equal to what? O2 F1 is equal to, this is distance X and this is X. So this distance is F1 minus X. Substitute this value here. So we have O2 F is equal to 1/2 O2 F1 means F1 minus X. Okay. This is the distance O2 F. For L2, the F2 for CL. For what I said, L2, for L2 this CL2, this point F1 is treated as virtual object and hence ray may be emerged from this strike at this point, and F is served as the real image. For this L2, F1 serve as or treated as a virtual object and F is served as a real image at point F. So therefore, for L2, this L2, object distance is what? Object distance is O2 F1. This is the object distance here. Distance is O2, F1 is U, and this is plus U. Plus U because this is as per U sign convention because it placed toward the right of the lens L2. Okay, and next, this is the image distance. What? O2F. O2F is the distance V, distance of object. So, in this figure, see here, we know the lens formula. What is lens formula? 1 upon V minus 1 upon U is equal to 1 upon F. This is the lens formula. Now, in this lens formula, if we substitute this value, O2, value of V is 1/2 O2 F, O2 F minus O2 F1 is equal to minus F as it is, but F2. F is because this is for lens 2. Okay. Now using this value and this value in this equation, we have what? What is the value of O2F? O2F is this and O2F1 is this. Sorry, O2F. Here O2 is this the value. We have to substitute this value here and this value we have to substitute here. So after substituting the value, we get 1/2. That means here F1 minus X upon 2, 1/2. This and this term is same. Either we write 1/2 F1 minus X or we can write F1 minus X upon 2 minus 1 upon O2 F1. What is value of O2 F1 is F1 minus X and F2 as it is. Okay. Now instead of this we can write 2 upon F1 minus X. Simply instead of this term we can write this term and this term as it is. Okay. minus 1. That means what? 2 minus 1 is equal to 1. So 1 upon f1 minus x is equal to 1 upon f2. Or instead of this we simply write, we make f2 cross multiply. F2 is equal to f1. F2 into 1 is equal to f2. And 1 into this is equal to f1 minus x. Or f1 minus f2 is equal to x. If we rearrange this, we will get this equation. How this equation? We have f1 minus f2 is equal to x. This is the condition for minimum spherical aberration when we used two plano convex lens, combination of two plano convex lens. Then when this condition is satisfied, this is the condition for minimum spherical aberration, or we can say that if this condition is true, this is the condition for this condition is true, then spherical aberration is minimum. Or in another word, we can say that the condition for minimum spherical aberration is that the distance between two plano convex lens should be equal to the difference between their focal length. Okay, in this way we studied maximum number of method in order to reduce the spherical aberration. Okay, in next lecture we will study the next type of monochromatic aberration, that is coma aberration or chromatic aberration. Till then we shall stop here. Have a good day. Thank you.